Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by
The Bridge School, the accredited international online private school of choice, at bridgek12.org.
Porch Light Rental and Destination Services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlightrental.com.
CubeMonk, featuring the world's first smart cube. Track your goods with our advanced GPS system. Welcome to the future of moving and relocation at cubemonk.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
And by heirs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at heirs.com.
Insured Nomads provides protection and peace of mind, with health insurance, travel insurance, group, or tailored insurance for the globally mobile. Visit us at insurednomads.com.
And by International Auto Source. We are the vehicle experts for expats, featuring all major brands of automobiles with flexible solutions and financing. On the web at intlauto.com.
Hi, this is Ed Cohen in San Diego, and our very special guest today on Global TV Talk Show is Al Dennis, who's coming to us from the Dallas area. Hi, Al, and welcome again, Al Dennis.
Thank you, Ed. It's a pleasure to be on.
It's great to have you. So this is an auspicious month, and so much going on these days. And this deal is, I guess it's not the good word, is it? The deal about unconscious bias. And, well, everyone's got some kind of bias. God, I grew up with it. And, with my last name and background, never mind how I look. it's I got a target on my back or my forehead. But so of course, I don't have the same experience as you. But from your point of view, looking at your work life with Hershey and with Go Culture, and your involvement in all kinds of things, is there hope for people to simmer down, to have lower temperatures, and understand that they don't have to be so fearful? I mean, if they have a right to be fearful if somebody jumps on them or starts threatening, yeah, of course. But in normal day-to-day stuff, it just seems like it's extreme.
It's extreme in some cases, but I think that, it's not something that's I'm fearful that we can't overcome. I don't think that we've got, I like your analogy, but I think that we can make progress if we simply focus on what you mentioned, that unconscious bias. And the biggest point that I love that you made just in the beginning there is everybody has bias, and bias does not make you a bad person. I may have more bias than you. So it's just a matter for me. What do we do? And one thing that I try to learn all the time, and that I think the key is being aware and not becoming complacent. So always seeking first to understand, kind of like we said before with Covey.
So you think about back in the day when you were in Hershey and other companies in management, senior management role, and when you're hiring, interviewing people, you're looking for people who are, I guess, team players, and people who share gratitude or thanks for not me, but a we.
Right.
And how do you look for, from a hiring point of view, how do you look for people who who can show inclusiveness in their daily life or in their normalcy?
That's a great question. I think that one thing that is really, really unique is I know that when I was hiring, even back then with Hershey and all the way throughout my career in leadership, one of the criteria was culture fit. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Culture fit is a criteria. Well, how do you measure that? So therein lies so many opportunities for bias to play in.
Well,
I think,
just if I may, exclamation point here. I went into some companies when I was younger, and I thought I wanted to work in a big company. I thought it'd be a good idea, and there was nobody there with my last name, and there could have been some people or anything like my last name, and it was like a stop sign. Let me tell you, and I grew up with prejudice in not heavy duty, but noticeable, and it just goes on and on and on, and even today. And then one day, a long time ago, I just gave up trying to work for someone else. I just said, I got to work for me.
I can relate to that sentiment as well, but yeah, I don't know. The best way I would say to handle some of that painful or that challenge feeling that you get when you're in that environment where the last name is not related to yours in any capacity, I think is just to, okay, if you have an individual and most people, and if you're going to eliminate the bias, most people don't want to be marginalized. Most people do not want to be mean. Most people don't want adversity or negative outcomes. So if you take that effort to simply try to communicate and say, look, I'm here. I know I'm different, and I just want to let you know that I want to work with you. And what can I do to help? What may I do to help better understand you? Oh, and by the way, here's a little bit about me. Please don't laugh. If you make it light and you try to build a connection, that's where I've seen growth. I think we fall into traps again with that culture fit, because the culture fit almost inherently implies that if you're not like this group, you won't fit. Well, that's counter to a meritocracy. So I guess without being Pollyannish, my thing is just remaining positive and actually trying to build a connection with that person, knowing that they bleed red and blue on the inside, and they're the same. And so if I try, and then if they at that point, if there's no success, or they put up a wall, or they, as you said earlier, jump on you, okay, you have every right to defend yourself. But I think that attempt, that intentionality is key.
Yeah. So this show's not about politics at all, although it would be easier to get into that. It's strictly business, and the world of COVID impacting companies. They're trying to open up. They're trying to find a way to get people back, but in my view, work from home, virtual work may not be as strong as it is today, but it's certainly going to be around from here on in. There's so many people who have figured out how to be productive without driving an hour each way and dealing with the hassle of coming into work. You can do work without being at work, at least as much, if not all the time.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I think it lends itself more to a meritocracy because I think we're looking at results more
There you
so
go.
now than going through the motions of everyone's got to be in this location, everyone's got to be within hierarchy, and it's just so we're 2020, 2021. We're hoping will be a little different as we move forward, but
22, yeah.
it was a challenge, and I think most growth comes amid challenge. And I see a lot of growth opportunities based upon, I mean, they're going to be brick and mortar. People are going to work, there's going to be a sense of normalcy. I just don't think it will be the way it was before, but it'll be more of a hybrid and will be more efficient if that makes sense. So I don't look at it as a negative. I think actually, especially for what you do and how you give back, I think it's a very, very strong positive.
Yeah, I believe that too. So clean and safe, can I trust? So CEOs, C-suites, bosses, do you think they're going to be managing different than from a year ago?
I hope so. I mean, that's the essence of growth, and I think that's where
Yeah,
we have the problem with these bias, the implicit bias, and oh, we're the worry and the fear. We have to continue to evolve. I mean, that's kind of what we do. That's what we've been doing since we were born. So and just growing. So if you're a leader and you think that you're going to the Super Bowl was yesterday. I mean, I'm not going to get into Brady or anything like that, because he's a lightning rod. I respect his accomplishments, but you need. Well, let me ask you. Let me ask you a question, because people we talk about making progress. We talk about corporately. We talk about we're not talking politics, but I think I always try to break it down to the lowest common denominator. And if we can't agree on facts, then how can we even? I think we can't communicate, and if we can't communicate, we can't make any progress. So I think
right.
it's better to try to understand, each other on that common level before we even think of going any further. But I may not have answered your question, so please.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me something.
Well, I wanted to make sure I answered your question, but my question for you was more along the lines of diversity and inclusion, because we had a conversation in the past about D&I, and I was thinking about it before we, our this discussion, and it's always D&I or D&I, diversity and inclusion. They're always together. Well, let's think about that for a little bit. They're different. I mean, diversity is essentially it's a characteristics. It's a characteristic. It's a difference, something that is maybe tangible, right? Because
Yeah, well, you
I
can
look
see
at
it.
you can see it.
Right.
I don't. You're a handsome man. I'm different. So but then when you think about inclusion, that's a feeling. That's not a tangible thing. It's an intangible. But I think again we miss certain things, and we miss the bottom line facts, and sometimes that's where dissonance comes in, for lack of a better word.
So how about the big B, like belong?
Belong?
Yeah, belonging.
That's that's inclusion. I mean, and that's where the feeling comes in, a feeling of being a part of something. You're a part of your family. You feel there's inclusion there. But even with inclusion, you can then have bias, because if you're looking to fill a role, and you have a hypothetical role to fill, and what they say, trust the devil, I mean, if you know that your son-in-law is competent and you've grown up with him, and you have a more of a level of comfort with him, you'd be more apt to hire that individual than someone else that may but I don't know because I don't really know. And plus, I've not really seen that type of person in that type of role before. This is a leadership role, and I've seen women to be more nurturing, and because my mom, she was just so nurturing, and she took good care of me, and she was actually subservient in some ways. That's the bad news, because that's where you start, she may have just been being a phenomenal mother, but that's where people's bias comes in. And then all of a sudden, a very, very powerful candidate, probably, if it was a meritocracy, be a no-brainer. This young woman or older woman is not selected for that hypothetical role, if that makes sense.
Got it. Yeah. Boy, interesting, isn't it? So the concept here of equity, I don't know what, I understand the word, but I don't understand it. It's just, what do you mean by equity? So I mean, equity is almost like retained earnings.
Yeah,
but it has nothing to do with it.
Too. I think business when I think of equity, and equity when you start talking in our climate today, equity is another lightning rod of a word, at least, because it doesn't necessarily jive with capitalism.
Yeah,
I mean, you know that. So well, I'll let you go further on that one, because I mean, equity is remember DE&I. Now we're looking at the third component, and again, so you're mixing all these things to get things together that are so different in and of themselves that you wonder why it's difficult to talk about differences. I think we've got to separate them and break them down individually and connect individually as human beings, as opposed to any prejudgment. That's what I would say.
Something that's really neat is that the Bridge School partners with various organizations to provide learning for their students. For example, we partner with a major ballet company, and we are able to enroll several of their students into our school. So now not only is the student able to participate in a school and have a seamless transition while they're very active in their ballet career, but now they have other dancers that are with them that are doing some of the same courses. So it's almost becoming a camaraderie where they're taking similar courses, they're working together on their ballet, and really being able to form this great partnership with these organizations to provide a needed service. A lot of times there are student athletes who will spend hours and hours at the gym or at the basketball courts, wherever it is. And if they're attending a traditional school, they're in school from 8 to 3. They get a quick snack, and then they're at the gym for 3 to 4 hours in the evening. Coming to us and having that partnership, they're able to break that up throughout the day. They can have a morning practice, get some schooling in, have an afternoon practice, finish their schooling in the evening. So there's that flexibility. And additionally, if there are tournaments or performances, it's fantastic, because if there's a week where they have shows straight through, they can take that week off of learning and then pick back up when they're done. So it offers this great flexibility. And for the program owners of these sports leagues, it is a win-win situation for them, because they see this need. They see this need that their students need to make sure that they are obtaining the grades necessary to be successful adults in our country and in other countries. But it provides them an environment where they can be successful at both.
So, this is not rehearsed, of course.
Yeah, definitely not rehearsed for me.
And it's going to show as we go along. So, I loved Bill Cosby as an actor. okay, and just forget about everything else. Just the roles from I Spy all the way through the Huxtables, just terrific. And as a guy who's really plays really smart, taking care of things, good head, and portraying that kind of thing on TV, which is an acting job, of course. But and the story ends there. It's just like, and then you get to Archie Bunker, okay? And now I mean, he's a caricature and a buffoon, but I mean, there, Archie Bunker's out there, and so is in Meathead. But I love the show when Sammy Davis Jr. was on there. But
I mean, you're dating a little bit,
Yeah.
but I actually recall as a kid watching a couple episodes. So I'm not. I mean, it was very, very, very entertaining.
Yeah, and it's a way to just laugh at each other and laugh together at the same things. and it's such a bonding thing when that kind of thing is happening, and there's like a void when it's not around anymore. It's like, poof, what happened here? What happened to those kinds of situational sitcoms or movie that has a difficult storyline, but it ends okay. It ends not like outlandish, and it's believable and maybe hopeful and wishful,
Yeah,
because so many people can find a way to get together and build something that's better.
completely understand. Well, I grew up. Well, my adolescence I spent watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but Bill Cosby, Archie Bunker, the list goes on. I would say that they are. Well, I mean, I think we can. I mean, there's nothing that's stopping us from, recreating things like that. I enjoyed the Jeffersons. I thought the Jeffersons was
They were fun. It was fun.
exactly. It was fun. I mean, I think that some of those things exist. I think a challenge for a lot of us, including myself, is to bring yourself, be courageous enough to watch something even though you may feel uncomfortable or it may go against what a value you hold, not a value, but a belief or something, something like that. That's where I think the concern comes in. But absolutely, I think that coming together that's the only way. I've never seen, I mean, what do they say? A house divided, I mean, there's no way to, and then there's divide and conquer. There's truth in cliche. And so if we know that, then again, intentionality, let's embrace, commonalities. We have so much more in common than we have, than we don't, and I see that, but it's like we talked about that the summit of a NASCAR event, or we talked about a lot, or just a fight, whether it be in a hockey match or just whatever. Nowadays you've got these weird fights with McGregor and Mayweather, and they're making all this money, but it's just everyone wants to see this train wreck, and so hence the extremes are popular when the 93% is being ignored. So it's just about connecting to me.
Why don't you and I and perhaps others we both know can sit together and have a glass of wine or beer or whatever, and dream up a sitcom situation centered around, let's say, you as HR leader, and 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 then we have characters that sort of look like Big Bird or the Green Monster, Kermit, and they're in the office, you know.
Okay. Okay. The Cookie Monster's got to be there, and Elmo. I guess. Yeah. Okay.
And so, because that's diversity, right?
Yes, of appearance and well, yeah. But we got to make sure it's inclusive and everyone feels, there's a sense of belonging. But that would be, yeah. Nothing. I won't put anything past you, Ed. You always you come up with the best ideas.
Now, the execution is what's next, but but I mean, just a way to like as an icebreaker, as because comedy, intelligent comedy, can be an understanding kind of a thing. I don't know. I'm tripping up on my own.
You're okay. You're okay. Let me ask, for example, Dave Chappelle is known to be one of the, from what I understand, I had not watched any of his performances maybe up until a year ago. He's on the edge, but the more, I think that some of the things that you're speaking to exist. We just have to, we kind of gotta we gotta find them, and now Google and Siri and Alexa exist for those that are, won't go there, but there's so much opportunity and there's so many things that I've seen that are out there that we can actually laugh at, that don't have to tear us apart.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about something else. Let's see. What do you think caused Kansas City to not perform as well as everyone thought they would?
Oh, you're putting me in trouble. I'm going to give you my 2 cents. My 2 cents is this. Start with the fact that there was a better football team. The team altogether was a better team. Defensively, even statistically, the coordinator Todd Bowles, he was a head coach in New York, and he's just a phenomenal coordinator. Then you got Bruce Arians, who's he's crazy, but he's effective. And then the lightning rod, you've got Tom Brady, and Brady. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I've seen on the football field someone that has that much. The word I would use would be influence, because he engages his team. Oh, and by the way, Gronkowski wouldn't have played were it not for Brady. So
Right.
People want to play with him, want to win with him. He's a leader, and the intangibles that you don't go to a new environment and go to the Super Bowl, and win it against Pat Mahomes. So there was a better team, and he had a lot of weapons, but he also is a phenomenal competitor, and I think it was the perfect storm. I take nothing away. I have a lot of respect for Andy Reid. I love the Chiefs. I think Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. I just think that Brady and the Pats all together were just too much to the total package.
The Bucks.
Oh my goodness! See?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so used to it.
I'm really gonna get in trouble.
So it was fascinating. I would have liked to see a closer game, but it just didn't work. I mean, the Bucks were just totally like a machine. I'll tell you, a well-oiled machine. They didn't let emotions go crazy or anything. It was kind of a clean game also, so they knew exactly what to do. And for some reason, Kelsey and I forget the other guy's name on the other side on KC.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't happen. Too many misplays.
Well, I mean, you got to attribute some of that to the defensive pressure and the scheme. But Aside from just football, just think about how we enjoy and how we watch football. I like football largely in part because it is the closest thing that I've seen to a meritocracy. And I say the NFL because it's not there yet, but it's the closest thing to it, and that's what makes it fun. And you look at what, you know, you have raw talent, you have leadership, you have cohesion, you have diversity. Oh, as a matter of fact, you know, the league is 70%, you know, minority. It just, I enjoy it in that regard. And I think it actually is it shows linkage to some of what we've been talking
A
about.
lot of things. It says what's possible. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I've enjoyed talking with you a little bit here about a whole bunch of everything. And it's sort of like the old Seinfeld comedy when he was good. Everybody just liked to talk, and you can't remember what anything was, but it worked.
Right. I mean, well, yeah, I agree. I actually I've seen Seinfeld on a couple of occasions.
No, lately he's not as good as he was back in that situational comedy.
Yeah. See there you can utilize that to put together that script. I will not be a part of it. Yeah, I don't want to bring it down. But you know, with Kermit and Snuffleupagus and everyone, we can get that going, and you know, we can help bring some of this unnecessary nonsense to a close.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so what are you doing to reinvent yourself for next month?
Next month, wow, I'm trying to reinvent myself for the next hour, for tomorrow. That's a great question. It's an everyday thing for me.
Yeah.
It sincerely is. When you have the opportunity to, we were just talking before the call or before you know, we began, and you know, won't get into specifics, but we realize how important life is and how fragile life is. You know, we all have families and we all have loved ones, and we've seen people hurt and we have people hurting, and so those are the common things that that matter. And so, with that being the case, it's I'm at a point to where I sincerely seek to maximize each day. So, it's just about learning and making sure that I make a positive impact on, you know, whoever I come in contact with, because people are suffering right now. People have been suffering for a long time, but I mean, it's even more so. And so if we can be a light, then I think that that's the least that we can do.
And without getting too heavy here, it's the higher authority of whoever it may be is available, and certainly been helpful. Yeah, certainly been helpful to me. So Paul Johnson is a wizard at what he does, and I've been fortunate to be able to collect some of my old contacts to join us on these talk shows, and it's really been a breakthrough where we've been able just to hang 10, if you will, and just ride that wave. You know, the tech use of the technology at practically no cost. You know, direct manufacturing costs, practically zip, and put out a quality program where people can meet from across cultures, time zones, you know, across silos. Never would have happened if we just stuck to the old way.
The potential, the growth opportunity is it's endless. It's exponential.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm excited by it. And I think that, you know, I would say remain encouraged, because you know, positive things are to come. I believe so. And I believe that they'll come based upon our attitudes and behaviors.
Yeah.
We control those.
With that, I thank you, Al, come back again. Let's shoot the breeze some more.
All right, absolutely, Ed. You take care, and it was a pleasure to share with you.
Okay, keep smiling. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.